come down to your mat and just find a comfortable seated position. So legs can be crossed, they can be out long, whatever is good for you. Maybe putting a blanket or something underneath your hips. And just for a moment, start to quiet your mind. So grow tall through your spine. Allow the top of your head to reach for the ceiling. And just let your shoulders fall away from your ears. If you haven't already, making sure the eyes are closed. And as you start to let go of any busy thoughts, anything on your to-do list or what's going on, just bring your full awareness to your breath. And as you breathe, I want you to imagine your rib cage working like an accordion. So as you inhale, allowing your rib cage to expand as opposed to your shoulders coming up and down. As you exhale, feeling the rib cage bring back in. As you exhale, all of the air in the lungs. And I want you to start to strengthen that breath by, as you exhaling, getting to the bottom of your exhale. And when you think you're finished, keep going. So it's almost as if you have two exhales. Emptying out to the edges of the lungs so that as you inhale, really filling the lungs again. And making them work a little harder than normal. One more full breath in that manner. And then just come back to your normal breathing. Taking a few more breaths and allowing your body to just relax a little bit more with each exhale. And before we begin, I invite you to set an intention. So what is it you would like to gain? Could be something strength-wise or flexibility, calmness of mind, maybe something more personal. Keeping your eyes closed, drop your fingertips to the floor, grow tall through your spine. And as you inhale, reaching your arms all the way overhead, palms touching. And as you exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. So bringing your thumb to your chest. And open your eyes. And then go ahead and just release your fingers down. And go ahead, you're going to take your legs all the way out long here. So I'm going to start a little bit slower, and then we'll speed up from here. But go ahead and move off to the right side of your mat, or to the left side of your mat, and your right knee is going to come to the outside. As you inhale, grow tall, lengthen through the spine, reach long through your fingers, and as you exhale, forward fold, trying to keep a long spine so that your face is reaching for your toes. And then not really worrying about the arms, but come all the way up. Your right arm's going to come behind you. Left arm's going to reach up, and you're going to press into that right knee. Open up to the side. Left arm reaches long. Really send your hips forward. Open through the chest. And then starting to drop the hips. Come all the way to the front, back to forward fold. So you can choose to take a breath or two, kind of moving slowly, but I'm going to move a little bit faster. So if you want to move with me, you're going to inhale, come up. Drop the arms, inhale, lift, and exhale all the way back to forward fold. We're going to start to move even a little bit faster. As you inhale, right hand comes behind you, left arm comes up. Big inhale, Exhale, back to your forward fold, lengthening all the way for the feet and then just continuing your own breath pace. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. 2 more times. Exhale. 1 more time. Really press the hips forward. Exhale all the way into your forward fold and hold it here. So hands can reach for the ankle, the shin, the foot. Really focus on bringing your belly button down towards that left thigh as you reach your face all the way towards the bottom of your feet or towards your toes. And then sliding the hand up, go ahead and grab underneath your left thigh. Start to grow tall through your spine. So if you find that your back is rounding out, just let your leg come a little further down so that you can lift. From here, you're just going to point and flex the foot. So it doesn't have to be at any particular pattern or timing. Really trying to feel the stretch down through the front of the shin, the back of the calf. And if you are really flexible and can keep the spine flat, feel free to grab the ankle and the same thing. Again, if that makes you round out in the spine, just take it a little lower. And then slowly releasing that leg. We're going to go ahead and switch sides, move all the way over to the right side of your mat. Left knee is bent. Starting slow, inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold, just holding here for a moment. Again, hands come to shin, ankle, or foot. Kind of feeling where you are to start. Coming all the way up, left hand comes behind you, push into that left knee, right arm comes up. Pressing the hips forward, lengthen through the fingertips. And then coming all the way down. You already know what breath pattern feels good for you, so following me or taking your own breath pattern. As you inhale, come up, reach through the fingers. Exhale, forward fold. Keep it moving. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. And as you move, making your breath the primary mover. Your body is just following. Breath is most important. Keep it going. You have 2 more. One more breath. Coming all the way back to your forward fold, just hold here. As you exhale, release any tension that you're holding in the back of the leg. And then sliding the hands all the way up, tall spine, start to lift the right leg. So same thing, grabbing underneath the thigh, start to point and flex the foot. And if you feel like you still need more, taking it up to shin or ankle, you can even take the ankle and kind of pull back with the hands to create more tension. And then point and flex from here. Just kind of honoring wherever you are with the back long and straight. And then slowly releasing that down, both legs to the front. Take one forward fold, not really worried about form, just allowing yourself to drape over. Hands come to shin, ankle, or feet. And then sliding the hands all the way up. Start to bend your knees. Lift tall through the chest, shoulders are back. And you're just going to find a hover here, so feet are off of the floor. And the whole time you're going to think about belly to thigh so that you're really lifting up, squeezing belly to thigh. You can stay here, maybe lift a leg, maybe the other leg, maybe arms. Again, if you round out through the spine, just go ahead and take it back down. Keep squeezing belly to thigh, belly to thigh. One more full breath. And then bending the knees, round it out, come all the way down. So if you're on a mat, go ahead and scoot to the front of your mat. If you're on the floor, it won't matter. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to find a hover here. You can choose just to stay here, really drawing the knees in as you draw the shoulders up and open. So you can stay right here. If you want adding a rock, you're going to inhale, rock back, and exhale, come up and try to find that balance again. We got refocusing happening. So you can stay here. If this is too easy, you can remove the legs. Hands can come to the ankle. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, come up. And if you still need more, feel free to grab the big toes. Start to lengthen through the feet. As you inhale, rock back. And as you exhale, come up. So any of those that work, you've got 2 more rocks. I'm going to save you the refocusing. And then from here, we're going to try to walk it up to a squat, maybe. So as you inhale, you're going to rock back. And as you exhale, come all the way up onto the toes. If you need to, you can reach down, press the mat, or make a little like, sometimes that's helpful. Nice. From here, hands come to the floor, start to lift through the hips, and just come to a forward fold here. Hands again, shin, ankle, or floor. Allow the spine to grow long. Release their shoulders, the back of the legs, but also release the neck. Soften the knees. Tuck your tailbone and roll it up 1 vertebrae at a time. So nice and deliberate. All the way through the shoulders. Nice. As you inhale, reach up. Clasp your fingers. And from here, you're going to press down in towards your left foot and then reach over to the right. So making sure to take big breaths here as you inhale, really expanding to the side of the rib cage. And as you inhale, come up, exhale, take the other side. And then inhale, come all the way up, and exhale, forward fold again. From here, bend the knees and place both hands on the floor and step both legs back for down dog. Really start to lift through the hips, sink both heels down towards the floor. Press into the hands, and I want you to focus on your foundations here. So as you are pushing into the hands, you're not just all dumped into your wrist or your palm. Start to put some pressure into your knuckles, into your fingers. And then as you're here, think about drawing your shoulder blades down your back and creating some space for your neck. As you inhale, come all the way forward and find your plank. So knees can be up or down, doesn't matter for me as long as your tailbone is tucked, belly is up. So you can do the same thing from here, making sure that's not a hands and knees. Feel free to stay here for a breath, or you might as well start now, coming down into your chaturanga. So as you do, bending the elbows, slowly coming down, leading with the chest. And then taking a breath here, coming back up either through the knees or all the way back up through a plank. And then from here, dropping the knees, come all the way back to your mat. And this time, come down to your forearms. So I'm going to give a little bit of sideways here for you. So you're going to clasp your fingers together, place them on the mat. And then from here, either stepping the knees back for a modified plank, or tucking the toes, coming into your plank. Nice. From here, nice and easy, walk those feet in, lifting through the hips, coming into dolphin pose. So we're going to start to take some movement through the shoulders. As you inhale, come forward, maybe a little bit, or maybe a lot. Chin in front of the hands. Exhale, come back. Start to follow your breath. Inhale forward. Exhale back. 3 more breaths if the knees are down. It looks like this. Inhale forward. Exhale, sit back, kind of like a child's pose. Same thing. 2 more breaths. Inhale forward. Exhale back. The next time you come forward, come all the way to your plank. I want you to engage your belly here, slowly drop your knees, release the tops of your feet, and roll all the way down onto your belly. Go ahead and grab your forearms down, so turn your palms down, place them on the floor. From here, really press both hip bones down into the ground as you open through the chest, draw your shoulder blades back, and if you still need more in the low back, just take your elbows and draw them in towards your body. And then coming back to center again, making sure elbows are directly underneath and maybe pulling them in just slightly. So from here, if you're really wanting some arm strength, tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into your plank. So again, knees can be up or down. If you're wanting to work on some more arms, you're going to start to walk your feet in so that you're coming back into dolphin. Press into your hands and lift your elbows coming into your down dog. Nice. So from here, we're just going to go up and down. You can do the same thing with the knees down. Slowly lowering the elbows down, and then pressing into the hands, lifting them up, finding your down dog. Inhale, come down. Exhale, come up. If you're lowered, it just looks the same. Inhale down, exhale up, sink it back. 2 more breaths. And then the next time you come down, come all the way onto your knees if they're not already, and then come all the way up. Nice, you're going to start by engaging your glutes, so send your hips forward, really squeeze in the back. Open through the chest, and take your fist to your low back. So we're just coming into a baby camel here. Really opening up as you breathe. So the more of a back bend this grows into, making sure that's coming from the glutes and the shoulders versus just the low back. And then coming all the way back up. Hands back down to the ground, spread your fingers, tuck your toes, and come all the way up for down dog. Take 2 full breaths. And then start to look between your hands and step or hop forward for forward fold. Soften the knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it all the way up. Inhale, lift. And as you exhale, bring your hands behind your back. So clasp your fingers, send your hands down towards the floor. And we're going to open up through the chest without opening up through the rib cage. So trying to keep that tucked in. And we're just going to breathe for a moment. As you inhale, keep opening through the chest, the shoulders. As you exhale, reaching your hands towards the floor. And you're trying to use the muscles between your shoulder blades to draw those back and down. And then releasing the arms. As you inhale, come up. And as you exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, come halfway up to a flat spine. So hands can come to floor or shin. Really pressing the hips back, chest is open, head is reaching for the front. And then from here, bringing your belly button into your spine and deepen your fold. Bring both hands down to the mat and step your right leg back. We're moving to warrior 2 here. So dropping that back heel and opening up the back toes towards the side of the mat. And you're going to windmill the arms all the way up. So from here, if you need to adjust, you can walk that front foot over, but you want to make sure that the front foot is directly in line with the back foot. Nice. From here, start to really reach your knees away from one another. So you're opening up through the hips, gazing out over that front hand. And we're moving to a side angle. So right arm comes down, left arm comes up, or right arm comes up, whichever one we're doing. Start to lengthen through the fingers, again, open through the chest. And then from here, taking out any weight out of that bottom arm that you can by engaging your core. And maybe reaching that arm out to the front. Bottom arm comes back. Come all the way back up into your warrior two. Back arm down, front arm up. Start to lift through the chest, lengthen again. That back hand can slide down the back thigh. And then coming back forward to your side angle. So you can stay here, or if you want to come down to the floor, coming down to the floor, but making sure you're not bending at the hips to make that happen. If you can drop the whole thing down, maintaining that long line from fingertips to heel, then maybe taking the floor, or if you want, taking a bind. Bottom hand can come underneath, top hand can wrap around. And if you're taking a bind, making sure that the chest and shoulders can still stay lifted. If you find yourself struggling along the floor, just take it back to your floor pose. Come all the way back up. Keep it strong, warrior two. And then pressing into that front leg, straighten the front leg, and start to turn the toes towards the side of the mat. So you're moving into your straddle. Both of the toes are facing the front. And you're going to shift your hips back as you come all the way down, hands to the floor. And if that's not available, just take them to the shin. So from here, really focus on driving your hips up and back. Bringing your belly button down towards the floor. And then your right hand's going to stay, and your left hand comes to your low back, and we're just taking a twist over to the left. You can stay here or taking that top hand up. And then bringing that top hand down, let's take the other side. Bring it to the low back, this time twisting to the right. Staying here, our top hand comes up. And then bringing that hand back to the floor. Start to shift your weight into your heels. Engage your belly, hands come to hips. And you're going to come up just using the back of the legs and the hips, or the butt. Come all the way up. Nice from here, start to turn your toes towards the front of the mat and step both feet forward for forward fold. Shake it out. As you inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming to that halfway lift. Pulling in the belly, draw it all the way back down, forward fold. Bending at the knees, both hands come to the ground. This time, left leg steps back. Again, back toes are facing towards the outside of the mat. Come up one hand at a time or windmill open. Finding your warrior two. Again, front foot is in line with the back foot. Start to draw your knees away from one another. And then side angle. Front arm down, back arm up. As you're here, breathing deeply again. Start to take some weight out of that front arm. Maybe extend it out to the front. And then bringing it all the way back in, come into your warrior two. Drop the back arm, front arm lifts. And moving back to your side angle. Front arm down, back arm lifted. Again, staying here, maybe coming to the floor or coming to your bind. Again, without bending through the hips, so keeping it nice and straight. Nice and slow, come all the way up, really using that front leg, hold it, and then straightening the front leg, turn your toes back towards the side of your mat. So you're coming back to your straddle. Hips come back, take it all the way low again. So this time, if you want more, maybe taking the legs a little bit wider, sending the hips towards the back again, keeping a long spine, but walking your hands through the legs if you need more. And then coming all the way back to center. Nice. One more breath, really keep pushing the hips back. And then this time using the arms to come forward. So leaning forward, you can either step one foot at a time or taking a little hop. And coming back to the center of the mat. Soften the knees, tuck your tailbone and roll it up. Nice. And then just step to the front of your mat from here. As you inhale, reach up. Start to reach long through the fingers, squeeze your glutes, send your hips forward, and come into your back bend. Again, coming from the glutes and shoulders versus cranking the low back. As you inhale, come up, exhale, come all the way down, forward fold. Bending both knees, place both hands on the ground and step both legs back for down dog. As you inhale, come forward and find your plank. So as slow as you possibly can, coming to the floor, bending at the elbows and keeping the shoulder blades drawn back. Nice and slow, nice and slow. And whenever you get there, releasing the tops of the feet. As you inhale, come up for cobra or up dog. So you're going to try to keep your hips placed still on the floor as opposed to lifting up. Drop your shoulders away from your ears, elbows are soft. And then again, nice and slowly, come all the way to the floor. We're moving back to down dog, so you can go through hands and knees, or start to press into your toes, lift through your hips first, and then to down dog. As you inhale, come forward, drop your knees to the floor, and come all the way up. From here, I'm going to do a little bit of movement with core. So if this doesn't feel good moving from a plank position, just drop the knees. You can do a lot of the same things with the knees dropped and take a little bit of weight off the upper body. So coming forward, finding your either hands and knees or down dog. From here, you're going to take the right leg up for three-legged dog. And if the back knee is lifted, allow that back heel to sink towards the floor. From here, we're going to do a little bit of breath movement. As you inhale, come forward. Bring that right knee to right elbow. As you exhale, send it back. One more breath. Send it back. And this time, bringing it all the way forward and hold. Choose to hold, or if you want, taking one push-up. Send it back. Bring it back in. Hold it, or one push-up. Send it back one more time, bring it all the way in. Hold it, or one. Nice, hold it, lengthen, lengthen, drop that back heel. And then bring it all the way forward and bring it into your lunge. Release the back knee down, release the back foot, and come all the way up into crescent moon. Arms come up. Shift your hips forward, open through the chest, reach long through your fingers, and tuck your tailbone. And then bringing both hands down, tuck your back toes. You're going to shift your weight to the front leg and come into a standing split stretch. So you're making sure that both hip bones are facing down so that it may take you a little bit further down. That's okay. From here, Kevin's already on it. If you want, taking a slight micro bend to that front leg, finding your balance and coming into warrior three. So driving that back heel, arms can come backwards, to the sides for balance, or maybe all the way to the front. Whenever you're ready, bending the back leg, coming all the way back to standing, shake it out. Take a breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift. As you exhale, forward fold, come all the way back down. Inhale, halfway up for that flat back. And exhale, bring it back to the floor. Both hands come to the floor, bending at the knees, both legs back for down dog. We're coming back to that same movement, so if you moved from hands and knees before, you can do that now. All right, from here, left leg up. Again, both hip bones are facing down. Allow that back heel to sink. And just taking 2 breaths here. Inhale, come forward, knee to elbow. Exhale, send it back. One more breath. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. And then here you go. Inhale, forward. Hold it and stay, or one push-up. Send it back. We're going to do that 2 more times. One more. And then send it all the way back. Hold it here, lifting through the leg, whether the back knee is down or up. And then looking between the hands, bring that back leg to the front, coming into lunge. Release the back knee, release the back foot, come all the way up. Reach long through the fingers, send your hips forward. Open through the chest, breathe. Both hands come down to the front, tuck your back toes, lift the back knee, and you're shifting the weight to the front leg. Start to lift that back leg, coming into your standing split stretch. Again, the height isn't what matters, keeping the both hips face down. Back toes are face down. And you can stay right here, you can come to your forward fold or moving through that warrior three. Lifting through the chest, drive that back heel. Arms come to the sides, to the back, or to the front. Whenever you're ready, coming all the way back up and shake out the legs. Nice. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands to heart center, taking your breath. One more breath. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold, come all the way down. As you inhale, come halfway up. And as you exhale, come back down. Bending at the knees, place both legs back for down dog. So holding this just for a few breaths. Again, lengthening through the heels, driving them towards the floor. Lifting high through the hips and pressing through the fingertips, through the knuckles. Start to send your chest a little bit closer to your thighs so that your ears are in between your biceps. And as you inhale, come forward for plank. So you can hold right here, really keeping the tailbone tucked, belly is up. If you want, come halfway down and hold. Shoulder blades are still drawn back, shoulders are away from the ears. As you exhale, press up. Send your hips back up for down dog. As you inhale, come forward. You know where we're headed, so knees up or down. This time, we're going to do that twice. Come halfway down, take a full breath. Send it back up. One more time, halfway down. Keep the belly lifted. Send it back up. Drop through the heels or lift through the hips, down dog. We got one more time. Inhale, come forward. Knees up or down, 3 times. Halfway down. Hold, press it back up. Let's do that again. Hold, squeeze your elbows in towards your body. One more time. Here we go. Hold. Come all the way back up for your down dog. From here, start to look to the front of the mat and step or hop forward for forward fold. Just release the low back, release the arms. Soften your knees, tuck your tailbone, roll it up. Nice, inhale, lift. And exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to find a little bit of a balance pose here. Start to find balance into your right leg. So it doesn't matter here, but you're going to bend your left leg, and we're moving towards dancer pose. So really start to tuck your tailbone, squeeze your thighs together, and send your hips forward. You can stay here or reach back, grabbing the foot either on the outside or if you have the shoulder mobility on the inside of your foot. Start to press that foot in towards your leg. So as you press the foot into your hand, start to create an O between your feet and your back, right? Maybe taking that down to the front, trying to keep your hips and your chest focused down as opposed to rotating out. And maybe that front arm can come up. And then coming all the way back, finding balance, shake it out. We're going to do the other side. So whichever leg you did before, go ahead and switch. Find your balance. Send the leg behind you, grabbing inside or outside of leg. Same thing, you can stay right here, just sending the hips forward, lengthening out through the front of the hip. If you want more, start to press your foot into your hand, create that O, find your balance. Whenever you're ready, coming all the way back up, releasing the leg and shaking it out. Inhale, lift. And exhale, forward fold. Just hold here for one breath. Start to press or bend the knees, press your hands into the floor and step both legs back into down dog. As you inhale, come forward, plank. From here, as slow as you can, we're coming all the way back to the floor. Nice and slow, bend the elbows, leading with the chest, and try to get your chest to hip before your hips do, even if the knees are down. Nice. So I'm going to come into bow pose, grabbing both feet and lifting. If that doesn't feel good, just come down to your forearms, open through the chest, start to bend your legs and send your hips down. You can stay right here. If you're wanting to move into bow, trying to grab the ankles if you can, drawing the toes back towards your knees. If that's not available, it's not. You're going to try to bring your knees inward and then start to press your foot into your hands, lifting through the back, coming into a back bend. So that lift is coming from the press, still finding full breath. If your belly is locked and tight, maybe finding a little rock with your breath. Just so you know, no one likes this pose. And then slowly release down. Release your head to the mat. Take a breath. And then bringing your hands by the chest, bringing your forehead back towards the floor. We're moving back to down dog, so you can press through hands and knees or through your plank, back to down dog. From here, let's take the right leg up, three-legged dog. Same thing, feel free to move from hands and knees. Start to bend the top leg and lift that knee towards the ceiling so you're opening your hip bones. Maybe even look out under the opposite arm, look for the bottom of your foot. And then coming back to center, we're moving to pigeon. So bring that right knee to the outside of the right wrist and walk your left leg back. So you're trying to find a place where you're not shifted one way or another. And if you want more, just bring the foot away from your body. If you want less, bring it in. And then from here, I want you to find your edge here first before you even sink into it. And then from here, nice and easy, maybe coming down to the hands, forearms. And just spend a moment here with your breath. Each exhale, allow yourself to sink a little further. And try to release any tension that you're consciously holding versus really pressing into it hard. You're going to allow your breath to do a little bit of the work for you. As you're here, if you're here and you're just really flexible, you need more, you can always think about rotating the front of the back thigh down towards the mat, and then maybe extending through one arm or both if your chest is touching the floor. Take one more full breath. And then coming to your forearms. You're going to take the left forearm, it's the opposite of whichever leg that you're using. Place it parallel to the front of the mat, and you're going to take a twist into that bent knee. You can stay here, or you can add the back leg, taking a bend, or if you want, taking a bind so that that top hand reaches back and grabs the foot. So if you have a bind, really pressing the foot into the hand, engaging the front of that back thigh. And then releasing the leg. If you have it, come all the way back to center. You're going to tuck the back toes and send your front leg back for down dog or hands and knees. And take some untraditional movement. It doesn't matter here. So really shifting the hips back and forth. You're just bringing blood flow into the legs, bending the knees, pedaling the feet, whatever feels good for you. And then when you're ready, let's come back into your hands and knees or down dog. We're going to take the other side. So from here, left leg up, reach tall. Allow those right heel to sink. This time bending that top knee, lifting it for the ceiling. Again, opening through the hips. And coming back to center, we're finding your pigeon. Bring that front knee to the outside of the wrist and walk the back leg back. Same thing, not shifted one way or another. And find your edge here. If you still need more, pull the foot away. If you need less, you can place something underneath that left thigh. And as you find your edge, slowly sink into it. It can be hands, forearms, maybe forehead. And same thing as you start to settle, find your breath. Start to release any tension, see if you can just sink into that. One more full breath. You can stay here. You know where we're going. If you'd rather just stay here for a few, you can. Otherwise, starting to walk to your forearms. Right hand comes to the front of your mat, the opposite of the front knee. You're going to twist into that front knee, taking a twist. You can stay right here. Hand comes to low back, maybe bending the lap back leg, or maybe taking that bind. And then coming all the way back to center, walk your hands in. This time coming onto that bent hip and bring the opposite leg all the way around, coming back to a seated position and shake it out. Slowly just bring yourself forward. Again, not worried about form. Just allow yourself to lengthen. Hands can reach as long as is available. And then sliding the hands all the way up. We're going to come into like the first basic arm balance of crow. If that is just not for you today, no problems. You can always start with just taking soles of the feet together, knees wide, and working into your forward fold from here. You can always use your elbows to create more tension. If you would like to come into that crow, we're going to play with it a little bit. So you're going to come onto the feet, and you're at home, most likely. So if you have a pillow or a blanket, bringing that with you so that you'll see. If not, don't worry about it. But if you've got something soft, you can use anything you like, a jacket, whatever. Place it to the front of the mat. And from here, you're going to come onto your feet, and we're going to take a squat. So if you want, you can start a little bit wider. And then allowing yourself to squat as much as possible. If you have to lift the heels, lift the heels. From here, you're going to lengthen through the arms and try to tuck yourself as much as possible, trying to get those knees into your armpits if that's available. From there, you're going to squeeze your knees into your armpits, and that way the arms can do whatever they want from here. You want your hands as close to this pillow or blanket, whatever you have, and as you're here, as you lift up through the hips, because you're so anchored, your arms are going to come with you, right? So you're going to start to lift up through the hips, allow the arms to follow, and you're just going to very gently shift your weight into your fingertips. You can rock that front and back, finding that balance. If you want, maybe starting to bring your toes together or lifting one toe or the other toe. So if you fall, right, you got that balance. It allows you to have a little bit like, ah. If you need to, come back up, take a break. Same thing. So as you shift your weight, making sure that you keep your head lifted so that as you shift, you're gazing at the floor versus dropping your head because it's going to drop a lot of weight. Maybe starting to squeeze your feet in towards your body. I'm pretty sure Kevin's just planching, so do what you want. One more time if you have it. If not, come all the way back to a seated position. So if you're at home, this isn't working, like this is kind of new for you, you can always come from a tripod headstand first, and you can use your blanket or block for that. So if you want, you can always start to bring your head down, bring your arms in, and your knees in. From here, focus on pushing into your fingers to come into your crow backwards. Sometimes that enables you to get some of that lift without having to worry about face planting. I wish your pictures were bigger. This would be way more fun. All right, come all the way down. Feel free to practice that as long as you want to. If you're following, just go ahead and allow yourself to come back to seated. Take a long, wide straddle, as wide as you have. Start to grow tall through your spine, and same as we did last week, you can reach behind you, shifting your hips forward, but you're going to roll your pelvis down towards the floor. If you have that, go ahead and walk your hands forward. And as you're here, really engage the hips to drive you forward versus pulling, and then press your legs down into the floor. So if you wanted to just work core, arms would be lifted, right? And then slide it all the way in. Placing left hand to the inside of the leg. You're going to open up through the chest, and if you have that availability to keep the chest open and hit the elbow, then do so. Right arm's going to come up, lengthen through the fingertips again, take that side bend. And from here, you want to come down as low as you can, keeping the chest open. So if that is shoulder, bring it to shoulder, right? As you're here, deep breathing, pushing all the air into the side of the lungs. Whenever you're ready, coming all the way up, and we're going to take the other side. Hand, elbow, opposite arm up. Same thing, rotating open through the chest. And if you have a hard time doing that, you can always place the hand behind your head and then lift up through the elbow. It allows you to open up through shoulders and chest. Doesn't let you cheat. Whenever you're ready, coming all the way back up, go ahead and grab the inner thighs, bring the legs together. And then from here, just scoot to the front of your mat if you're on a mat. So legs come out long. Hands come behind the thigh. You're going to tuck your tailbone coming into just kind of like a curl. And then from here, you can either use your hands on the floor, or if you don't need them, don't use them. You're going to roll it down one vertebra at a time. If you need to, grab your thighs or floor. Nice and slow, nice and slow. All the way down. So walk your feet in towards your body. So as close as you can, we're coming into a bridge pose. So press into your feet, spine is long. Tuck your tailbone, start to press your hips off the mat one vertebra at a time. As you come up, check in with the neck. Neck should be nice and long, looking out over your belly. Start to squeeze your inner thighs together slightly. Lifting the hips, knees reach towards the front. And you can follow Kevin here, coming into a shoulder stand, clasping the fingers, a shoulder opening. As you open through the shoulders, taking your hands towards the floor. And if you prefer to come into your full wheel or back bend, you can do that here too. Hands come to the top of the head. Inhale as you come up, and exhale, press out. So either way, you're opening up the front of the body. Taking one more full breath. And wherever you are at, tucking your chin, slowly roll it down, one vertebra at a time. Drawing your knees into your chest, take a twist. Just take a rock. From here, start to lengthen the right leg. Grab a hold of your left leg, draw it into your chest. And then opposite arm grabs the knee. You're going to start to pull the knee over your body as the open arm reaches away from you. And just taking a twist here. As you draw your knee over one direction, the opposite shoulder is going to stay on the floor. So we're just taking a breath or two here. If you find that you need more, you can bend the back leg, and that free arm that's reaching can reach back, grab the foot, and find a bind. If you have a lot of flexibility here, you can also grab the front toe and start to lengthen through that leg. So it's a double bind. If not, just hold it right where it is. And then releasing, coming all the way back to center. Get your hips centered, release one leg, and let's draw the right leg in and take the other side. Just draw it into your chest. Opposite arm grabs the knee. Right arm reaches out. You're going to take that twist again. Again, trying to keep the opposite shoulder still on the floor. And same thing, if you'd like more, you can bend that back leg, maybe taking a bind here. You can also reach for the front toes. Just options. And when you're ready, coming all the way back to center, shifting the hips back to center, drawing your knees in, and just taking one last rock side to side. And then from here, just releasing your feet, and you're going to come into your final pose of Savasana. So if you're watching your low back, take your feet wide and prop your knees together. You can also just start to extend through arms and legs, palms up, or maybe taking soles of the feet together, let the knees fall wide. So this can be whatever position feels good for you. And find a place where you can come back to closing your eyes. And just for a moment, coming back to your breath. Find that gentle rhythm of your breathing. And each time that you exhale, see if you can just release a little bit more tension. Allow yourself to sink a little bit further into your mat. Allow your legs to relax. Releasing any tension in the shoulders, the arms. And even relax the muscles in your face and your hands. And as you lie here, just noticing that rhythm between the rise and fall of your chest, your belly. And on your next inhale, really expand through your belly as you inhale. And exhale, releasing all of the air from your lungs. Taking some movement in your fingers, your toes. Feel free to take any last movement that would feel good for you, whether that's arms overhead or knees into chest. And whenever you're ready, with as little effort as possible, coming all the way back to a seated position. From here, grow tall through your spine. Bring your fingertips to the floor. As you inhale, reach all the way up. And as you exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for doing this with me today. Namaste.